Hello, 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 and welcome to Cocktails and Conversation. It is week 16, can you believe it, of your favorite weekly booze and news show. Fabulous racing either side of the Atlantic this weekend. Breeders' Cup winning you're in races just about everywhere you look. And Brittany and Mark Tubridy and I here just to give you some midweek cheer. Hi, guys.
How are you? I love the background. It's different. It's new. Fill us in. Where are you?
Yeah, there's no piano. There is a bed in the background, which I'm sort of obviously trying to obscure because I think that looks a bit weird for this show. But I am in my hotel at Goodwood, where I've been all week. This is the first time I've been away from home. Actually, only the first time I've been away from home since the camping weekend, but enough of that. The first time I've been away at the races, staying away at the races since early March. So, some semblance of normality is returning.
Well, I've got two questions. The second is more important, but the first, there was a win and you're in at Goodwood this week. What did you make of the Sussex?
Oh, unbelievable race. And germane to this particular program is that the Sussex Stakes has thrown up a whole bunch of horses that I think will turn up, God willing, and if they're healthy, in the TVG Breeders' Cup Mile. And,
right.
We're not quite sure how it's all going to pan out with the traveling arrangements and whatnot. But say we have some normality, I think we can expect the winner, Mahatha. It would be an obvious target for him. And the racing manager to Sheikh Hamdan, Angus Gold, talked about it with me this morning, that he thought that the Breeders' Cup Mile was a very viable target. The runner-up, Circus Maximus, ran well in the Breeders' Cup Mile last year, so I think he'll turn up again. And the third horse, Siskin, he kind of barely stays a mile here, but I think a two-turn mile might be good for him. So I think they'll have a look at it. We've got Pinatubo, who runs at the Jack Mawa in a couple of weeks. He looks like he might turn up as well. So I sent Chad Brown a tweet yesterday. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw it. It was great.
You saw it. I said, Chad, get the guns ready because they will all need to be firing if you're going to take down this strong group of Euros in the Breeders' Cup Mile.
Oh, but his response was the best part, because as we have come to know on this show, that the real Chad Brown is quite funny on Twitter and actually in person as well. So that response, did he not use a GIF that was some glasses? I was like, really?
Yeah. You know it. You know it. Can I just canvass your opinion on these sunglasses, by the way, while I'm here?
Yeah.
Now.
And the shirt. The shirt needs a 1 through 10.
There's nothing wrong with the shirt. This is not pajamas, by the way. This is actually a shirt. But do you think these are a little too much for me, or do you think they're okay? Be honest.
I think our silence is speaking volumes.
All right, fine. No, you don't like them.
Is Mark frozen? I can't tell if he's just definitely standing very still.
Gosh, he is still. Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
I don't mind them at all. I do like your shirt. I'm a big fan of stripes. 1950 sunglasses is what Sharon calls them.
Because you've been what does she call them?
1980s sunglasses. They are with that reflection. It's like I feel like Tom Cruise would be wearing them on the beach playing volleyball in Top Gun.
All right. Okay. I'll take those. Thanks, Sharon. I've been very rude because you always ask about my week and I haven't asked about yours. So what have you been up to? You're still in Del Mar. You still have the same backdrop. Have you actually managed to get to the races yet?
I haven't, but I'll be back on site on Friday. Saturday, we have a win and draw in for the Breeders' Cup Sprint, which is the Bing Crosby, which is kind of the highlight of our show this afternoon, and our guests catching up with a couple of trainers that have runners in that race. I'll be honest. I did not do much. I saw these four walls quite a bit working from home, made some dinner. It was very low key, but I'm excited for the weekend because it'll be jam packed.
Okay. So what are you expecting from the Bing Crosby? Is it going to have a major bearing on anything we need to know about?
I think it could be. I mean, Mackenzie's not going to run in the race. We're catching up with Mike Smith a little bit, but they wanted an outside post in a small field. They got an inside post in a large field. So they're going to await the grade 2 Pat O'Brien, which is 7 furlongs, which is a distance he's undefeated at. 6 furlongs he's never run at before. So taking him out of the race, I think, makes it a wide open event. And we actually have some shippers in the race that pertain to our guest today, who I'm really looking forward to chatting with. And poor Mark, where is Mark gone? I mean, did we offend him?
Well, I'm told that Mark had a cable pop loose, which sounds very painful. I think you can get some sort of ointment for that if you go to your nearest pharmacist. But now he's had his cable put back in. Here he is.
Mark, trying to keep things interesting here. I almost gave myself a heart attack, but I'm back. Sorry about that, guys.
So good to have you back, Mark. What are you gonna do for us this evening?
Tonight we're making 2 great cocktails, but the twist here is that usually we're making drinks and trying to think up course names after the fact. Tonight we're doing it backwards. We actually designed this cocktail, Midnight Bisou, after the horse, of course, we all know and love. So we're going to be making that original cocktail tonight. I'm super, super excited for that. And we're also going to be making a classic cocktail that I honestly never heard of until recently called the Brown Derby. But try to make you believers of both cocktails. It's going to be a fun night, and hopefully my computer behaves.
Okay, we'll talk about this a bit more later.
Favorites.
Go on, what were you saying?
I said clearly somebody's playing favorites.
I wanted to ask you, when you're commissioned to create a cocktail, so you get commissioned to create, say, the Midnight Bisou or some of the Breeders' Cup cocktails. Where do you start? Because you could theoretically put any combination of any drink. I mean, do you have something in your mind and then create it, or do you just experiment with a bunch of stuff and see what works?
I think it's important to really think about the subject that you're trying to create that cocktail for first, so that you make sure you're really getting inspired. So in this case for Midnight Bisou, I really started to think about her style and who she is as a horse and her racing kind of history and career. For Breeders' Cup, obviously there are so many beautiful traditions that are a part of the Breeders' Cup. So I try to do my research first and then sort of let ingredients kind of pop out at me. If I went in blind and I just tried to pick from anything, then it would be a tough process. But this cocktail came relatively fast to me for Midnight Bisou, so I'm really excited to share it with our viewers. I think it's going to be a new crowd favorite.
Cool.
Awesome. Love it. Well, I'm sure our final guest tonight coming on will love that drink as well. But should we roll straight into it? We have a busy afternoon, and I know some family members in England are staying up late to get some or hear something from their family member who's coming on first.
Yes, and here he is. He's a former soccer star turned top trainer, ex-assistant to Doug O'Neill, a man who was inextricably linked with Nyquist when he was there, but now training stakes winners for fun in his own right. Mr. Jack Sisterson, good evening, sir.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
And it's great to have as many Brits on this show as possible.
Hey Nick, I love the sunglasses. I'm all for
do you
them.
like? Yeah.
You got one vote.
Hey, Brittany, it's 3:00 there, right?
Yes.
And you're already drinking wine. I love it.
Oh, okay. I thought I was getting a little. Well, we have to
I'm not judging. You don't need to explain.
I'm gonna try and find some sort of excuse, but no, it is early here, but it's 5:00 somewhere, as we all like to say.
Exactly.
We've got some family members of yours watching from England. Jack, I think your brother Liam said they are all watching.
Yeah.
So where are you? Give us the lay of the land. I see some great photos behind you. Are you in your office?
I'm in my office, yeah. Unfortunately, I'd love to be traveling right now, but I'm back home at Keenan. But Keenan's a beautiful place to be, so I'm not complaining.
Give some sort of perspective. How close are you to Keeneland?
Oh, I'm touching distance. Our barn's right there. Although it's not on Keenan's property, it may as well be. I live right close to it. I can sit in my living room and see the 7/8 shoot there. So it's a beautiful place to live and train horses.
And Calumet Farm is just so steeped in history. It's had some wonderful times, some difficult times, but got back on the up again under its current ownership. How much do you feel that history on your shoulder when you sort of started training there?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate, Nick. It's one. I grew up a huge football, soccer fan, and it's like Manchester United back in the day. It was the Premier League every year, and I suppose you hold up the Man U strip, and it's wow. Well, you look at the Calumet Silks, and every time you give a leg up, you sort of look back. And I've been over to the farm a few times, and there's a graveyard there, and all the previous Triple Crown winners and champions, and it makes me very fortunate the position I'm in, and I know they'll get the farm back to where it was once before, and we've got a great team where I am now. But the history, it's fantastic, you know, it really is. And I'm fortunate, blessed to be in this position.
Well, before you started training for Calumet, before you were along the ride with I'll Have Another in Nyquist with Doug O'Neill, you were at University of Louisville. But before that, when was your first introduction to horses and racing that made you come stateside?
Well, growing up at a young age, my family owned, you know, Point to Point, as Nick would be familiar with that. And from as far as I can remember, I was going on a Sunday to an unknown point to point, and just loved every bit of it. Wanted to be a jockey. I used to sit on the arm rest of the sofa there and pretend that it was a horse and ride it, and my parents used to go mad, but
how about this?
Oh, that's great.
Where'd you get that from?
I've got
Make that up.
This is brilliant.
Oh, you can't be showing people that.
This is what
Yeah,
this show.
so that was God, that led right into it. That was me growing up, and I think that was maybe Halloween or something. And you know, it was football and horse racing, and you know, I started to grow. I couldn't be a jockey, so Plan B came around, and ended up at the University of Louisville playing soccer, and they have the equine program there. So I got the best of both worlds. Got to play soccer and study, you know, the equine program there at Louisville, and that's how I got teamed up through actually Gary Stevens by Michael McCarthy, who was Todd's assistant at the time at Churchill. I became a hot walker. That was my introduction to the American side of racing, and I remember I stayed to do summer school, and I used to walk to Churchill Downs from my dorm room, and this would have been 3:30, 4 o'clock. You got to stop the pictures. I'm going to pull a Mark and pull the plug out here.
But that's not a soccer jersey or football.
No.
That's a football, American football jersey. What is the story there?
Yeah. How did you get these anywhere? That I used to walk to Churchill, and thanks to Todd and Michael and Gary for setting that up, I was able to start in the American. I think the first year I worked for Todd, it was the year that Rags to Riches won the Oaks. He had English Channel, which actually is quite cool because I train numerous English channels because English Channel stands at Calumet. He was second in the Oaks with Octave, and then I think it was Scat Daddy, Circular Key, Cowtown. He had 5 runners in the Derby the following Saturday. I think you look down the shed row, and it was just one after another of now stallions or broodmares that have gone on. You fast forward to now, I look back, and each year was a stepping stone to where I am now, and people allowed me opportunities. I'm very grateful for those people, because if it wasn't for those people, I wouldn't be here.
Really work from the ground up, a hot walker now to a trainer for Calumet. That's pretty remarkable. Lots of hard work along the way.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I suppose nothing's handed to you in life, and for me, I wanted to learn from the ground up, and you know, gain respect from my fellow employees and things like that. And that's the way I operate now. That, you know, I'll jump in and do anything, and it's a big team effort, and but never forget where I'm from, sort of thing. That we're all in it together.
And Jack, when did you sort of know that America was going to be your home, and where you'd set up your working life?
Yeah, that's a great question, Nick. I used to always wake up early on a Saturday morning and watch Match of the Day. That was actually no, Sunday morning. Match of the Day was always on a Saturday night. And
so just for those who don't, Match of the Day is the soccer so like the soccer roundup magazine show in the UK on the Maiden network.
Thanks for the clarification. Also, we'll have to get a definition of point to point later on.
Well, so point to point's easy. Point to point is steeplechase racing, but for amateur steeplechase racing, basically.
Perfect. Continue.
Yeah, so I used to watch matches. This must have been probably 4 o'clock in the morning. Hence why me waking up early now is no issue. That I'm always a morning person. And once match of the day finished, there was always some American film on, and America just seemed bigger and better. And no knock on England, I love England, but it was just, wow, what would it be like to even visit America? And you know, I think I remember we went to Disney World in Florida, or Disneyland, whatever it is, and I got a Miami Dolphins cap or something like that and took it home, and football, and it just seemed like it was like a dreamland. And here I am now. It really is the land of opportunity. And I think from a young age, it was looking forward. America is where I want to be. I'm not saying I never go back home, but I see the foreseeable future here in America.
How did your family feel about you wanting to take up work and life over in the States?
I'm very, if I have a supportive family, so they would, wherever I decide to go, they'll be 110% behind me, and they've helped me along the way. And I chat to them every day, and they're a big part of what I'm doing now. And I text them every morning when I wake up. And it's funny, if I don't text my mother an hour when she thinks I'm in the day, is everything okay? I haven't heard from you. Yes, everything's all right. Are you eating fine? Yes, I'm eating. Clean? Yes, doing everything. So,
well, that's standard for a mom.
I am 35 now and not 12. So, but I have a loving family and grateful for it.
Jack, you've hit the ground running. I mean, you're sitting there, well established now. That whole array of photographs behind you of some of your winners, and you've had a ton of stakes winners as well. How much confidence did you go into your training career with when you got the license, when it was your name there, having been associated with these great horses? Did you go in confident, or did you wake up in the morning and think, I'll get found out one day?
I think with anything in life, you need to go in there with a bit of confidence. And, you're only as good as the people behind you. And I was fortunate enough to get an owner that supported me and provided me horses that could win at any sort of level, and got a great staff. And, it's not rocket science. If you do what's right by the horse and your staff, the results will come. And it's a big team effort here. And I was fortunate enough to learn along the way from great trainers that helped me in this position to when I started. I just carried on for basically what they were doing. And fingers crossed there's more to come. But by the way, those are some of those are photocopied there, so it makes it look like we've had more winners. So don't tell me what.
You have a great story about your first graded stakes winner. Was that at Aqueduct? Reminds me of, was it Oxy Lady?
It was in the temple. Yeah, Aqueduct. It was actually my brother Liam was here, and we'd had two. It was Breeders' Cup week. She won on the Breeders' Cup Friday, and we had two runners at Churchill on the Wednesday or Thursday actually, and myself and Liam drove to Churchill. We met a few friends for lunch at the hotel, went to Churchill. One was a heavy favorite we thought would win, and he got beat. So I'm racking my brain on how did this horse get beat. And we had Oxy Lady running the following day, Friday, in New York. And I was just mind-boggled how this horse got. I couldn't get over, so we were driving back. My brother's a great cook, so it was great having him here for 2 weeks. And we stopped off. There's a supermarket probably 10 minutes from Keenan, so Liam and I stopped off, picked up a few groceries, and I'm still like thinking in my head, how did the horse get beat? And brother's like, oh, don't worry, things happen. And come Friday, I would have put it all behind me, but I was just trying to figure out how it got beat. Anyway, got beat. And I was texting, I was like, Liam, you know what? We're going to fly up, because we were just planning on, I wanted my brother to experience the Breeders' Cup. We were planning on going to Churchill Friday and Saturday. I said, Liam, you know what? Let's jump on a flight early to Aqueduct. I know she's a long shot, but you saw work last week. She worked well. First time blinkers. Let's go up there. You get to see Manhattan out the airplane window. At least you can say you've been to Manhattan. And so anyway, we land, get an Uber to Aqueduct. And I could see at the corner of my eye, Liam was thinking a race course in New York would be like pulling up at Ascot, which it's not the most glamorous, but no knock on.
It isn't quite Royal Ascot.
No, the Royal A.
We pull up, we check the horse, we had lunch there. Fast forward, the horse goes and wins, and the first thing that Liam turns around and says, because we thought, thanks to Sheikh Fahad invited us to his suite on the Saturday Breeders' Cup, and first thing Liam turned around and said, we're staying in Manhattan tonight. So we ended up, Liam actually got to see Manhattan, because we ended up staying in Manhattan that night. But she was our first graded stakes winner. It was great to have Liam there to experience it with me.
Yeah, that's special, in a moment I'm sure you'll never forget. That very first graded stakes win. And you've had plenty since, including a horse that you brought out here to California in Lexingtonian. I remember that day, Preakness Day in the Chick.
That's right, yeah.
All your buddies here with you. As we do approach Saturday, and Lexingtonian was supposed to be in the Vanderbilt. He was in the Vanderbilt. What happened that day at the starting gate?
We definitely didn't. He didn't flip in the gate. I've read numerous clippings and heard people say flipped in the gate. He didn't flip in the gate. I'm actually yet to see exactly what happened, but Tyler Gaffion, within minutes of him getting back to the jocks room, he shot me a text saying, sorry about that. Hey, there's no apologies needed. But basically, he just sat down on the gate. He was so anxious when Whitmore broke through the gate. It took quite a while to get him back. Obviously, with 4 Grade 1 sprinters ready to run, they're energetic to start off with. And when they're sort of bottled up for an extra few minutes, Lexingtonian obviously was like, enough is enough. I want to go and get me out of here. So if you watch all of his replays, he's never had an issue in the gate. He was actually drawn 1 at Pimlico when he won and stood in there for a while. And Tyler just said he got a bit worked up, because it took Whitmore a while to get back in. Unfortunately, thankfully, the horse, Tyler, was fine. We got to work him the next day. And put him on a plane to Del Mar. So we're looking forward to Saturday.
You got a big weekend as well, because you're running in the Personal Ensign against Midnight Bisou with Vexatious. That's a big call, but something's got to take her on, Jack.
Somebody does. It's an ambitious spot for her. She ran great last time in the Ruffian behind Monomoy Girl, and she always seems to get found out by that top class filly. She ran great course and distance last year at Saratoga, only to be beat by Blue Prize, who went on to win the Breeders' Cup. So she has the talent to be within. She got beat ahead that day by Blue Prize. She's doing great. It's coming back in 3 weeks. Typically, we wouldn't do that. Mark O'Dwyer, the assistant, he's been with her and actually gets on her every day. And Mark's been in contact with me, and I just said, Mark, if she ever doesn't train or looks or doesn't eat the way she usually does, please tell me, because we don't need to run. And she seems to thrive up at Saratoga during the summer. So, she's doing great. So we're looking forward to run her.
People and horses seem to thrive up in Saratoga.
Yeah, she's got a fantastic pedigree, been a foal to Creative Cause. So if we can get Grade 1 placed with her, it'll just enhance that a touch more.
I love this comment from Sue. She says, horses don't look at the odds boards. And that couldn't be more true. Dorian Dickinson, who's been watching our show, she's such a supporter of Cocktails and Conversation, says, party at Jack's place in Lexington during Breeders' Cup. Just a thought.
Yeah. You know, I could make a fortune charging people for parking there.
You should.
I can drive the golf cart to drop people off back and forth.
I think that's a great idea. The last time I was on the back stretch at Keeneland was for the Breeders' Cup. We were walking to the stakes barn for American Pharoah. I have a bad knee. My knee dislocated. I face planted.
Oh, no.
I used your golf cart right then and there. I was hobbling the rest of the day. It was not good.
I thought when the Breeders' Cup was at Keeneland, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job. Breeders' Cup anywhere is a great weekend, but I think, was it the first time it actually been here at Keeneland?
Yeah.
I think people would how small the venue. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, agreed. And we'll be back there this November, Keeneland. Bill Ziegman is asking what my yellow wristband is. It's not. I haven't been out clubbing this evening. This is now what you need to get into the racetrack in the UK. Once you've had your temperature taken and filled out all your health questionnaires, you get in and give your name, and they give you a wristband, and then you're good to go. Mark, are we good to go for our first drink of the night?
Let's go for it. Yeah, we are doing what's special about this first drink tonight, and I mentioned it a little bit before, is that it's pretty new to me. I just found out about it basically researching for this episode. So this is the cool thing about being at week 16 of Cocktails and Conversations. Even I'm learning new drinks at this point. So we're all in this together. Our first drink tonight is called the Brown Derby. It's a simple 3-ingredient cocktail, so very easy to make, accessible ingredients. It was created at the Vendôme, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but Vendôme Club on Sunset Boulevard back in 1930. And it was actually named after the Brown Derby restaurant. And this restaurant, I've seen pictures of it, it actually looks like a giant derby hat. So I don't know if anyone, yeah, it's very, very cool. So this drink apparently was big as a brunch cocktail, which is not something that, typically you would think of. So bourbon for brunch, maybe not so much. But when you look at the other flavors, it makes sense. So we've got some grapefruit juice there. The bitterness, I think, is good to kind of stimulate the appetite. And then also the honey just complements that bitterness, rounds it off. And honey and grapefruit is just a delicious combination. So we're going to dive right into this cocktail. Really easy, guys. You're going to need grapefruit juice, honey syrup, and Maker's Mark bourbon. We've used that honey syrup before. We did that for the Gold Rush, I think maybe in some of the other original cocktails that we've done throughout other episodes. But honey syrup is as easy as adding some hot water to honey just to loosen it up. The reason why we're doing that is so that it mixes nicely with the rest of the ingredients. So we're going to go ahead and start with 1 ounce of grapefruit juice.
Hey, Mark, just before you carry it, the only thing I love all your bourbon cocktails. They all sound delicious, but I'm just thinking bourbon's quite sweet with a whole load of honey as well. Is that not like a little bit of a sugary overload?
I was a little surprised when I tried it out myself because I had the same apprehension that you did. But I think the whole key is the bitterness here. So without the grapefruit, I don't think it would work. But sweetness naturally offsets bitterness and vice versa. It's one of the reasons why we add bitters to cocktails. So think about a Manhattan, for instance. You've got bourbon, which is a sweeter ingredient. Sweet vermouth is sweet. But those bitters in there, that's really what starts to counteract the sweetness. So that's a great question, Nick. I think the reason why it works in this case is because of the grapefruit juice. But great point.
Jack, Robert's asking what your drink of choice is. I know you've got water right now, but if you're celebrating a graded stakes win this weekend, what would be the drink of choice?
I suppose it would depend on the atmosphere. I like red wine. So it would depend where I am. If I'm back at the barn with the guys, I just have a big Corona or something like that.
Adjust
I
to
wouldn't be
the
as fancy as Mark. I wouldn't know how to make all these fancy exotic drinks. I know how to make a Corona, and that's about it.
That's why you're doing a seminar.
Yeah, but that's a good fallback, Jack. And half the time when I'm having something to drink here at the house, I'll go for a cold beer as well. So I think it's fun to know how to do these things, but I'm just as happy with bourbon neat or maybe a vodka martini or a beer. So I'm right with you on that.
I'm writing this ingredient, the recipe down, what you're making here, so at least I can say I know
Awesome.
what drink to make.
And on that point, Jack, that's a good thing that you bring that up. We're going to try to get this. I know some viewers have been asking maybe for all of these recipes to be consolidated in one source. So I don't want to promise anything yet, but there might be something behind the scenes happening at Breeders' Cup for us to maybe get this on the website or something as a resource for you guys so that you can get all those recipes in one place.
Perfect.
You're going to do it. Is it Mark Tubridy cookbook? In aid of
That's an idea.
COVID-19 charities.
I mean, I've got the time. I might as well, right? And we've got the recipes at this point.
Yeah. breederscup.com/donate, by the way, if you want to get involved.
Absolutely.
We've been raising plenty of money during the course of this season for the COVID-19 Relief Fund across the United States, both as regards backstretch workers and people in the entertainment industry and the leisure industry who've been out of work. So get stuck in. And Mark may write a book.
But we'll see. Maybe by episode 25, we'll have kind of a treatment worked up. But all right, so Jack, to recap for you, because I know you're writing it down, we're doing 1 ounce of grapefruit juice. You can do fresh squeezed if possible, but if not, don't hesitate to get some store-bought grapefruit juice as well. It's going to work just fine. And now we're going to do 1/2 ounce of honey syrup. Now, again, we were saying the honey syrup is that diluted honey. The only thing you want to keep track of here is the proportion of honey to water. So I like to do my honey syrups 2-part honey to 1 part water. And all that means is you're putting half the amount of honey that you have, you're going to add that amount of hot water and just stir it in. So we're going to do 1/2 ounce of that syrup. As we spoke about in the past, I'm sorry, Brittany, what was that?
No, just easy to make. I remember with the gold rushes.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've mentioned this in the past about syrups, the more concentrated it is, the longer it'll last. So if you're not someone that makes cocktails all the time, but you want to try some of these out, that 2-to-1 ratio, it might be for you, whether it's for regular simple syrup, which in that case we call it a rich simple syrup, or for your honey syrup. The more sugary content you have, the longer it'll last in your refrigerator. So I would give this syrup about a month, which is a good amount of time to work in some fun cocktails. So that was 1 ounce grapefruit juice, 1/2 ounce honey syrup. We're going to do 1.5 ounces bourbon, and that's going to be pretty much all she wrote.
I love the simple recipes, Mark.
Yeah, this one, here's the thing. So simple classic cocktails are kind of like those classic songs, classic melodies. You almost wish that you were back in time. You're like, I wish I came up with that one. But something like a Negroni, which is equal parts gin, sweet vermouth, and Campari, it's a golden ratio. It's just perfect the way that it is. Whoever discovered it, which actually for the Negroni, it was actually Count Negroni. We'll get into that another time. But yeah, the simple ratios that just work, it's a beautiful thing. You don't have to add more ingredients to it. It's perfect the way that it is. So we have our 3-ingredient cocktail here, the Brown Derby. Let's go ahead and give this a shake. We're going to add some ice. Nick, are we doing any sort of stats during this shake? What do you think?
I think we'll save the stats for the next shake, Mark.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Jack, we got a comment in here from someone you know well. Christina Blacker said, wish you were making the trip to Cali this weekend, Jack, your friends, and goddaughter, Eliza.
Oh, no. I miss you guys.
Awesome.
Oh,
there we go.
look who's in
my
town.
God.
Let you guys catch up while I shake.
Scary. You're going to scare the children. Don't scare the children like that. Holy mackerel. Wow. Gov, how you doing?
Hey, Gov. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man.
I wish I could be out there. Are you at Del Mar or at home?
Del Mar.
Del Mar,
And,
great.
yeah. But it's not the same without Jack here. I'll tell you that right now.
I know.
It's, man.
We held up all the talk about you two working together because we had to get the former boss in. For a second time, Doug, I'm so glad that we haven't caught you at your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm out of my car, not in my closet. I'm in my little rental living room here and enjoying this. So thanks for having me.
Perfect. So what's the garnish before we finish off this Brown Derby?
Awesome. All right. So
What's that?
guys, we did. Was that?
Yeah, for you.
Okay. So all we did was shake that cocktail up, guys. I fine strained that into a coupe glass. It looks really nice and elegant.
Is my Wi-Fi
So again, our
showing up?
coupe
Can you guys
glass.
hear me?
We got you, Doug.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
All right. So that's our beautiful Brown Derby. The
So,
last
I heard
thing
something
we're
about a
gonna
Brown
do-
Derby.
Cheers.
Yeah. Have you had a Brown Derby before, Doug?
I like it.
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. So we're going to add just a grapefruit zest. In the past, we've done things like lemon peels, and I think maybe we even did an orange peel for the maple bourbon old fashioned. This grapefruit zest, remember that you want to express those oils on the surface of the drink. That bitterness is going to be one more thing that's going to counteract some of those sweet elements you definitely don't want to skimp on this citrus garnish. So this is a beautiful 3-ingredient cocktail. It looks really nice and elegant. Apparently it's a great brunch cocktail, so give it a try the next time you're doing some brunch at home.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, Doug, it's great to have you back. When we last spoke, you were in the car. You were excited about Del Mar. How's it all going for you since we last chatted?
It's going really well, Nick. Thanks for having me. And yeah, Del Mar has been beautiful as always. And Dennis Moore and the crew, knock on wood, they're doing a fantastic job with the racing surface. And so yeah, it's I mean, seeing these 11 race days is kind of wild, especially without any fans there. But you know, I think the Del Mar management's really done a heck of a job of making this meet go as well as it has under their circumstances. So far, so good.
And tell me this, Jack. I don't want to spare Doug's blushes tonight because it's not that kind of show. You know, we just let it all hang out. Just try if you can to tell me what you learned from the great man.
Oh, it was everything. And I always say, if it wasn't for Doug, I wouldn't be sitting here.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
I was 7 close to 8 years I worked for Doug, and it was, you know, he was my boss, but he never, you know, came across that way. It was like 7 or 8 years hanging out with him. And
I think the greatest thing, Jack, not to interrupt you, but thank you, but is the fact that when Jack graduated from University of Louisville, worked with Todd Pletcher during the summer. Catch me if I'm screwing this up, Jack. So you moved out west. Your dad had worked at a stud farm, right, in England, correct?
Oh, sorry, my computer's going to die, so I'm just going to plug it up here quick.
Yeah, do it. Plug it in. Come on, get some juice going there. So, okay, while you're juicing up the computer, I'll tell the story. So he moves out west, and he gets a job with Mark Verge at Westside Rentals. You guys know Mark Verge at Westside Rentals.
I didn't know Jack worked at Westside Rentals.
He did, and it was like the first or second day. Verge calls me. He's like, "I got this English guy. He played at University of Louisville, and he loves the races. He's reading the racing form at his desk. I love this guy. You got to meet him." So that kind of started the whole thing, and Jack and I hooked up, and we immediately hit it off. And yeah, so you know, Jack's an unbelievable horseman, and he's a great person, and he just brought so much to the team. And yeah, what a run we had, and you know, it's something that I think you know we'll never forget. That's for darn sure.
Hey, is this Nyquist, or I'll have another? Where was this taken?
Nyquist, because no fedora, right? Didn't you have a fedora for I'll have another?
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, you know, those were such great times, and you know, a lot of it too, thanks to Paul and Zilla Redham, who just really let all of us treat the horses in a grade 1 manner, but also they let us all kind of be treated in a grade 1 manner. So it was a wonderful journey, both those great horses, and Jack, being that he graduated from University of Louisville, had a lot of connections there. So we had football coaches and soccer coaches, and you know, a lot of Coach Patino would come by. So yeah, it was just a great experience there for sure.
Doug, you always talk about it being Team O'Neill. It is a team effort to get to where you have been. Jack, what was it like for you being a part of that team and those big moments that, you know, most people just dream of?
Like you said, Britt, you hit the nail on that. People dream of the position, just to even get to the position that Doug allowed us to be in, and to even win the type of races that Doug won, and allowing the team to basically celebrate it on his level. It wasn't, you know, there was no closed office door. It was always open and to anyone. And Doug was always approachable, and he stepped back and let the whole team enjoy, you know, the success of whatever win it was. And you could see the way he treated his staff it then in return reflected on the horses, in return reflected on the results.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug, there comes a moment, doesn't there, when you've had an assistant that you give your right arm for, work for you for a good period of time, but you know that it can't last forever. I guess there's that delicate balance between trying to hang on to that relationship, but letting somebody find their own way and fly the nest a little bit.
Oh, you're 100% right, Nick. And Jack was ready to go on his own years before he did. And, just the maturity of Jack to wait for the right time and the right opportunity. And so classy of Jack, when the Calumet people reached out to him, he reached out to me and ran it by me. And before he even finished the sentence, like, are you kidding me? What an unbelievable opportunity to work for Mr. Kelly and the staff there and Eddie. And just so proud to, I've had Jack on our team and we're still family. I know he helps me a ton and I help him a little bit. And we're still in it together. And it is the beauty of this business. And Nick and Brittany, you know this, it's a very small community. And, if you get lucky enough and have a good enough horse, there's a lot of traveling involved. And so oftentimes you're leaning on friends to help you when sometimes you're spread a little thin or something like that. So, and sometimes you'll be out of town and you forget some equipment, and it's nothing better than being able to lean on Jack to help me out. And he's done that numerous times.
Well, your brother Liam says, we still watch I'll Have Another and Nyquist wins at the Derby every week. Goosebumps. I mean, how often do you, because we like to reminisce and bring these videos back to our guests that are on, how often do you two reminisce moments like that? I mean, Jack, for you, it's probably under your own name, your graded stakes winners, but do you go back to those moments and be like, that was a really special time?
Well, I never watch TV at home, but, I'll jump on the computer after I finish sort of the set list for the following day, and there's numerous times I've pulled up I'll Have Another and Nyquist, Derby wins, Golden Sense, Breeders' Cup Mile, and numerous times I've went back and watched the replays, and it really does, I suppose, like my brother said, it'll send goosebumps. And until you've experienced it, I know people say, because I used to sit here and listen to people, words can't describe the feeling. Mm-hmm. And I always think that surely there is a word that can describe the feeling. Well, I've been in that position. I can't describe the feeling of I'll Have Another when he won for the first time. And then was that 2012, 2015, Nyquist? Mm-hmm. And 16. Doug would know better than I would, but you've experienced it once. You really want to experience it again, so there might be added pressure on Doug to do it again. You go from been somewhat of a long shot and I'll Have Another to an unbeaten, 2-year-old champ, the whole world zoning in on you. So you really wanted that because you want to experience that feeling again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is an incredible feeling. And Jack, one of your amazing traits is the way you communicate with whether it's a hot walker or a groom or an exercise rider. And, it's so important, especially when you get a big time horse like that. And Jack's got a lot of big time horses now too. You'll get some.
Oh no! And
we lost him. We lost him. Get him back in the car. He was great in the car. He was so good in the car.
Oh, and he was giving some praise to Jack. I'm sure well deserved.
Hey, listen, Jack. How often do you and Doug now race against each other? Does it happen frequently or not?
Not often. Obviously, I'm on the East Coast. Doug's on the West, but obviously on Saturday we are. And for everyone to know that I'm actually in Doug's spot. So Doug's taking care of my horse. I can't be there, and I assume Doug will be saddling the horse as well. So Doug's got a runner in the race. So that's how good Doug is to me. That he's got a runner. You'd think, all his attention will be on his, but he's taking the time to accommodate to Lexingtonian as well.
Oh, come on. So it's all friendly on the show, but when the gates open, all bets are off, right? You want
watch Doug try and trip Lexingtonian over in the paddock before he goes out the track. Right.
It is, you could tell it's such like a family atmosphere. You spent so many years out here on the West Coast with him, now in Kentucky. I mean, that's worth mentioning. How much do you miss our beautiful weather out here in Southern California?
I miss it. Like, for instance, today, been in California, you never had to look at the weather forecast. You have a horse on a Saturday work schedule or a Sunday, Monday, whatever it is. And you know that come the following week, you can work that horse on that day. Well, today, we had to make some last-minute adjustments and work a couple, knowing that for the next 4 or 5 days it was going to rain. So, we got him back.
We got him back.
He's back
Doug,
in the game.
Saying how much he's looking forward to beating you on Saturday.
No. Don't listen, Doug.
You're okay. You're with us. I do, Nick, love sometimes watching people try and figure this out.
He is sort of back. He's half back. Bree Adkins has been on, Jack. When will we be able to get on Calumet's site to... I can't quite figure out what she's saying there. Nope, I'll leave that one. James Hamill, cheers everyone. I think we should all have another and hopefully be able to get to the track again soon. So say all of us. A lot of people want to know about Lava Man. When we get Doug back on, we will. Bill Ziegman said he's 3 bourbons in. Pour yourself a 4th, Bill. Yeah. And we're all still here. Brittany, are you still there? Oh, Brittany's frozen as well, Jack. It's just you and me.
I'm going to take a picture of Brittany's face right now.
We're down to the bare bones. Mark's back in the game.
I'm here. I'm going to have another bourbon, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, Mark, when you're working, do you take... Oh, Mark's gone. It's just...
Listen, I'm still listening, Jack.
When you're working, do you always sort of taste, sample? I don't know the correct bartending terms.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do it in a very measured way, because you're sampling things throughout the shift. But the best way, at least this is pre-COVID, but it's a safe way of doing it, is you take a little straw and you just dab it, and kind of that suction gives you just a little bit to try. But it's the same thing like chefs as they're tasting food.
Yeah,
it's important to measure your ingredients, and that'll get you in the ballpark. But sometimes you do have to give it that little quality assurance, and it adds up too. So.
I want to give a shout out to Jen Cook, who's on every week and has been one of our most loyal fans, and I give her very little love as the weeks go on. So, Jen, from all of us, thanks for watching, thanks for your support, thanks for tuning in. Woo! She says Doug's back, except he's not. He's gone again.
We're moving rapidly here.
So I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this Midnight Bisou. Not the horse, the cocktail.
Yeah, me too. It's I don't know at what point it's going to make sense to do it. I don't know if I should do it now until we get people back, but it's going to be an exciting cocktail. It's what's a little interesting about it is that some of the ingredients would make us think we would want to shake part of this cocktail, but we're going to stir it. So I'm going to talk about this later on, but sometimes I discuss the rules of bartending. Today's kind of an example of how we're going to break the rules a bit. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Like as if by magic, you're just kind of ambling your way through the show. Everyone's disappeared. You're in need of a life belt, and a life belt pops up in the form of the first guest we ever had on this show, Mr. Michael E. Smith. Hello, Mike.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Mike,
yeah, very well. How's things going?
Good. The NBA just started, so I was just turning it down. I was watching the first NBA game.
Oh, who's playing right now?
Days.
Pelicans in Utah.
Okay, I think there's a Lakers Clippers later, right?
6:30.
Mike is in tune with the sport.
He knows.
Yeah. What did I miss? I mean, I lost everything.
We played a little 3-card Monty with guests here. We were trying to make sure that our viewers were really keeping track.
And then Mike popped in, which is fab. And we were talking about Midnight Bisou at the weekend. Mike, she just only enhances her reputation every time she sets foot on a racetrack. How's she getting on?
She looks great from what I've seen on video. You know, I only get to watch, you know, their works online because she's all the way at Saratoga. Of course, I'm here in California, Del Mar. But they say she's doing incredible. I know from the last time I rode her, she seems to have grown and gotten even bigger and stronger than before.
And how difficult is it for you guys, because you're having to stay at home, and this is going to happen a lot now in the next few weeks, where you've got a mount that you can't get on because you've got to be restricted to your own riding group. Jesus, how are you finding that?
Well, for me, it's not so good because most of my business is traveling. I travel quite a bit, especially this time of year. I usually head back to Saratoga at least 3 to 4 times. And right now, it just doesn't look like I'm going to get that opportunity to do so. But, you know, it is what it is, and we're all trying to just do the right thing and hopefully get through this.
Well, let's not make Jack sit here while we continually talk about Midnight Bisou, since he's facing off against her in the personal Ensign with
second would be happy.
Jack, thank you so much for spending time sharing your story, sharing those photos, which were epic. We're going to bring back that jockey photo at some point.
Up those photos. Whoever has them, get those deleted.
I love it. Hey, good luck in the bean credits be on Saturday, and he's gone.
He's gone as well.
Just like that.
Well, we had to say goodbye to him if we're going to be talking and making the Midnight Bisou. It just doesn't seem appropriate since he's running against her. We've got the right guy here for that in Mike Smith.
Absolutely.
So, Mark, are we going to make it now, or shall we wait?
Yeah, let's go for that. I missed my cue. I'm sorry.
No.
Drink?
Yeah, Mike, how cool is this? He created a drink in her honor.
Oh, wow.
This is the big debut as well. So we're really excited. Now, all 3 of you can speak to Midnight Bisou's career a lot more than I could. But I know that she is beautiful. She is a crowd favorite. She's strong. She's great to watch. And so as Nick asked me earlier about how we kind of come up with cocktails, those were elements that inspired me about Midnight Bisou. She's just beautiful. She's slightly mysterious in that name. So all those elements went into the cocktail that we're about to make. So we're going to start off. Basically, what you're going to need for this cocktail, you're going to need some Angostura bitters. We've spoken about bitters in the past. They add some great complexity to cocktails. There are so many varieties out there, but this is the one that I guarantee you, even your parents probably have a bottle that's like 30 years old sitting in their cupboard. Everybody has a bottle of these, whether you know it or not. So we're going for the most accessible form of bitters there, the old standby, Angostura bitters. We'll need some pomegranate juice. Super easy to find. Pom is a great brand. And then leftover from our French martinis, we're going to use some Chambord. So this is going to be a great French ingredient, as well as our Tito's handmade vodka. And then later on, I'm going to grab some champagne as well. So we're going to start building this. The whole idea was just like the Breeders' Cup cocktails, I wanted this cocktail to be something people could run to their store, grab the ingredients, and make this at home and enjoy it. I don't want it to be something you have to search for the ingredients. I think Midnight Bisou, her legacy is going to extend far past whenever she's done running races, but she's absolutely doing fantastic right now. But I want this cocktail also to honor her throughout time. So I want it to be easy to make, and we're going to show you just how easy it is. So we're going to take our bitters. We're going to do 2 nice dashes into a mixing glass. So 1, 2. All right.
Any other horses have their very own cocktail on Cocktails and Conversations? She's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was joking earlier. We're coming up with these horse names, and we went backwards this time. I felt so privileged when the owners of Midnight Bisou, including the Bloom family, reached out to me and brought up this idea. Obviously, again, you guys are the experts, but hearing you speak about her and the way that she races, I was very honored to be asked to kind of be part of that legacy, if only in the cocktail manner, which is probably the best way that I can be. But yeah, it's a huge honor, and I'm really excited that we get to debut this cocktail tonight. So we've done our bitters. We're going to move on to pomegranate juice. Now, the cool thing about pomegranate juice is that there's a certain kind of natural tartness to that. So we're building in a little bit of acidity here, but in a mild way. This is not lemon or lime juice, which is very aggressive. But pomegranate juice, it has a little bit of sweetness, but it also has some acidity, which is going to help us later on to balance some of the other ingredients. So we are going to do 1 ounce of pomegranate juice into our mixing glass. Now you might notice as we build this cocktail that the color of the cocktail itself is this dark color. It's mysterious. It's just like Midnight Bisou, Midnight Kiss, you know, is what that translates to. And so I wanted to evoke that imagery in the cocktail. Moving on, we are going to use Chambord. Remember, Chambord is a black raspberry liqueur from France. And this is going to give us some really nice, rich berry notes that are going to kind of complement the brightness of the pomegranate juice.
Our friend Jen Cook, she said that she's been making cocktails with her Chambord all summer long. French martinis, I think I saw her. Yep, there we go.
Awesome. Well, this is one of those ingredients that once you invest in it, you know, you kind of find other ways to use it. So we're going to be topping this cocktail with champagne. A great kind of very easy cocktail that you can make is a Kir Royale. So a Kir Royale is just champagne and some Chambord or creme de cassis. So there are ways to utilize these ingredients. I know sometimes investing in these specific liqueurs when we're making these cocktails can seem kind of like, you know, you're really kind of investing in something that you're not sure how to use it, but it could be a great opportunity for you to learn some of those fun classic cocktails with those liqueurs that are laying around. So that was 3/4 of an ounce of Chambord. And now we're going to add a little kick to it because, of course, Midnight Bisou, she's beautiful, she's elegant, but she's strong. And she can really, really make up lost ground very fast and win the race. Mike, I know you can speak to that.
He's got a very strong kick.
Absolutely.
I'd put a double in.
There you go. Well, this time I'm going to keep it at 1 ounce, but I agree with you, Mike. You know, that's not a bad move at all. All right. So what's kind of interesting to this is sometimes I say when we add juices to cocktails, that's a sign that we want to shake them. But in this case, because I'm going to be topping it with champagne, I was thinking about the style of cocktail that I wanted here. I wanted to keep it very elegant, very kind of finessed. So remember that when we shake cocktails, we introduce a lot of air into them. So they end up kind of giving maybe some of the foam on top, things like that. And I didn't want that here. I wanted it to stay very elegant, very clean. That way, when we add that champagne, it's going to look really beautiful, just like Midnight Bisou. So we're going to stir this cocktail.
Midnight Bisou. Nothing.
Exactly. So I kind of use this as an opportunity to break the rules. So we're going to add some ice, and we are going to stir this cocktail. Now, it's going to take a little while to stir. So, Nick, on this one, are we going to do some stats while I stir?
The trouble is, Mark, I'm between you and me, because I'm not at home. I'm a bit.
Okay.
Because I haven't got my normal kind of facilities with me.
It's all good. I figured I would throw it out there. You know, I never know.
As good as.
I mean, Brittany might be able to sing, or
no, definitely not. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. Ready?
Yep.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to read off some hefty stats for one Mike Smith.
Go for it. I'm stirring. I'm going to be doing it for a while, so go for it.
United States Triple Crown in 2018, Kentucky Derby in 05 and 18, Preakness 1993 and 2018, Belmont Stakes 2010, 2013, 2018, Kentucky Oaks in 13 and 17. Winningest Breeders' Cup jockey ever. Mile in 92, 93, Sprint 2011, Turf in 94, Juvenile 95, 2002, Distaff, Mikey 95, 97, 2002.
Get that wrist going, Mark.
12. Breeders' Cup Classic 97, 09, 11, 16, Juvenile Fillies 08, 15, 17, Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint 2012, 2013, Marathon 2013, that's no longer, Juvenile Turf 2013, Filly and Mare Sprint 14, 16, Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile in 16, and I could keep going, but ESPY Award for Top Jockey 1994 and 2015.
Awesome job, Brittany. That was great. All right. I think that was perfect. Nick, you always do a great job as well, but you got some competition now. Brittany, pretty awesome there.
That goes without saying.
I mean, of course, the first time I'm trying to do this, it's Mike Smith stats.
Yeah. You had your work cut out.
We could have taken up the whole hour.
That's just I've been around a long time.
That we could have. But wow. I mean, Mike, just reading your Breeders' Cup wins alone, that would take us 3 hours worth of a show just to go through half of them.
I've been very blessed in the Breeders' Cup. They just does something special to me for some odd reason. It makes me up to another level for some reason. Of course, the horses I've been blessed to have ridden in it probably do that at more than anything.
Exactly.
It's interesting. I mean, Jack was trying to put into words those big moments and what it's like to be a part of it. And it is really difficult, I think, for those to describe that moment on the big stage. You talked to Frankie about Royal Alaska. You talked to you about Breeders' Cup and just the energy and the level of competition. It's probably tough to put into words unless you're in that position.
Exactly. I think too, the older you get, the more you really realize how important those type of races are and what they really mean, not only to you and the owners to the whole sport. Those are great memories. They even mean more to me now than they probably did back then, to be honest with you. You learn to appreciate things a whole lot more as you get older.
Yeah, I'm sure. We can cheers to that. Top off with some champagne.
You got it. So now we've strained our cocktail. You can see that color, reminiscent of Midnight Bisou, a little bit mysterious here, still beautiful. And we're going to top it off with some champagne, approximately 3 ounces, but champagne, why not a little extra?
Yeah.
And after we give this just a little stir to kind of incorporate, the one thing I know is that Midnight Bisou always has her ears up, right? So we are going to do a little lemon twist that, just like Midnight Bisou,
there you go,
has those ears up.
Cute.
Cheers, guys. That is the debut of the Midnight Bisou cocktail. Good luck this Saturday. I'm sure she's going to do great.
Yeah.
Mikey,
but you'll be keeping an eye on her, I'm sure.
I'll be a cheerleader.
And Mike, even though you're missing her, you've still got important business this week.
No, without a doubt. Yes, we have some big races here this Saturday as well. The 3-year-old prep race runs Saturday, Shared Belief, and Honor AP runs in it. Backing up in distance a little bit, but he's training very well. He's quick enough that this shouldn't bother him. It's certainly not going to be his best distance, but it shouldn't bother him any. And
then he beat Authentic, didn't he, in the Santa Anita Derby? You've gone on and ridden Authentic to win the Haskell, so you got a pretty good line on how strong that form is.
He comes back and wins the Haskell. I think runs the Hunter Buyer as well, which was really high. So that even gives me more confidence going into this week. When you can beat a horse as talented as Authentic, the way Honor AP did in the Santa Anita Derby was really impressive. And if he just gives that effort back, he should be really tough to beat again.
Well, Mike, here we've got the TVG.com Haskell, and I saw your face after this race because it gets tight. What is going through your mind right now?
Please, Wire. Come on. He spurted away when I asked him, and then as this colt, he's learning still. He's still got a lot of room, to improve. He needs to learn to run through that wire. He'll open up, and then he tends to look around quite a bit sometimes, and he kind of started idling there, and I was like, no, it's not over yet. And then you got to be careful with overriding him as well, because he tend to duck around on you a little bit. He did that the second time he ran, actually. But we were close enough to the fence, and I was able just to encourage him just enough to keep him focused, and the wire came up just in time. But galloping out, he wound up jumping back into the bit a little bit. So he showed that he wasn't just done. He was just kind of looking around a little bit.
So Honor AP in the Shared Belief Stakes, you rode Shared Belief to victory many times, including in the TVG Pacific Classic here. What does it mean for you to run in a race with such a top competitor, named after a horse that I know meant so much to you?
Yeah, Shared Belief meant the world to me. I really believe, and I've told several people, that off camera stuff, that this Shared Belief, people really never got to see how great this horse really was. If you just go back and look at his record, it'll show you how great he was. But he was unbelievable, but probably should have never been beaten, to be honest with you. The only 2 times he was beaten was when he was just eliminated from the starting gate in the Breeders' Cup Classic. The one time he got the opportunity to run in it, and then of course the last time when I pulled him up when he got hurt, he had cracked his pelvis. So he should probably have never been beaten. And he beat the likes of horses like California Chrome and so many others. Not only would he beat him, he beat him with ease. What he lacked in size, he just had a huge heart, and he was extremely talented, and he meant the world to me. So if I could pull this off with Honor AP to win the Shared Belief, would be even double special.
Yeah, the one thing about Shared Belief, that whenever you saw him in the flesh, you just couldn't believe how, unprepossessing he was, really. Like, he never filled your eye. He was very unassuming, kind of light, narrow, small, but had some serious engine.
An amazing engine. Athleticism. He could jump up and probably spin in a circle and land facing the same way he started. I mean, he was that athletic and very, very well balanced. Just a great horse to ride as well. You could put him into places, take him back, put him back there. Whatever you want to do with him, he was just eager to do, and nothing seemed to bother him. He could be on the lead. He could come from way back. He could be in the middle of the pack. And for a little guy, he could take some knocking around. The only time he didn't take it as well, and I thought he still took it very well to come back and still run fourth, was that Breeders' Cup Classic when he got eliminated leaving there. And not only that, throughout the race, he got bothered several different times.
It's been fun to reflect upon his career because he really was brilliant and a horse we lost far too soon. You talk about his size. It's almost the complete opposite of a horse like Honor AP, who is this big, imposing horse that has already in a short amount of time, Mike, gained a massive fan following. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people have become so attached with this horse in a short amount of time?
Well, not only is he extremely talented, but I think the way he looks, he's very flashy looking. You know, he's a beautiful black color, and then he's got those white legs on the bottom and that beautiful white face. I mean, he's very flashy to look at. And people just love the way he kind of has his grandfather's running style, AP Indy, where he just kind of puts that head down and he just marches forward and he doesn't stop coming at you. I mean, he's I think he showed in the Santa Anita Derby that the mile and eighths wasn't a problem for him, and then the mile and quarter could even be better for him, which is good for us. We'll see whenever we get there. But again, we're shortening up, but he's quick enough out of the gate that he should put himself in a good spot and hopefully run like I think he's going to.
Mike, it's been a weird year. There's no doubt about that. But we're just starting to see some really nice youngsters coming out, and that's what keeps us all going. The idea of renewal and great talent coming through some of these barns. Have you had your leg across any smart 2-year-olds?
Not yet. I get to ride one Saturday for Simon Callahan that I'm excited about riding. I'm hearing some good things about this horse, so we'll see. They haven't let us work any horses here, Nick. We can't breeze them. I was supposed to breeze this colt several different times and hadn't got the chance to yet. So. But I Simon's just a great horseman, and when he tells me one can run, the last time he told me one could run was a horse called Firing Line that I broke his maiden. I never got the opportunity to ride him back, but he was 110% right. So I'm hoping we're in the same boat here.
Mike,
what's this one called?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't know his name. You can probably look it up, Red. It's kind of.
Yes, I did mention this horse the other day. He's got a couple of really talented 2-year-olds in his barn, and this one I believe is for Kaleem Shaw. But Mike, expand on that a little bit, because I think it's really interesting because you work a lot of horses in the morning. I believe, did John Sheriff say you're supposed to work Honor AP? How challenging is that for you, for these young horses, the 2-year-olds, to decide who you're going to ride and who you're going to maybe pass over because you haven't gotten aboard them in the morning?
Well, I mean, especially a young 2-year-old and actually a horse like Honor AP who can be a little tricky to work sometimes. He'll either go extremely too fast or extremely too slow. There's that fine line with him that and it's all about breaking him off and getting him going as far as Honor AP goes. And these 2-year-olds, you just like to get a feel for them, just to actually see is he going to be quick leaving there? Is he a little shy this way, a little bit this way? Is he light mouth? What he feels like? So I'm only going to get that chance to feel all that in the post parade. But believe it or not, these horses are so well trained, they're so forward. It shouldn't take us long to at least figure out a few things about them, and then we'll just see what happens when those doors open.
Vittorio is the name.
There you go.
Race number 3 on Saturday, Vittorio for Simon Callahan and Mike Smith in the irons. I always love hearing about these young 2-year-olds.
Yeah, I talked to Kaleem Shaw, even called me and talked to me about him before, so I know he's excited about it. So especially when he called me, I really got excited. So hopefully we'll do some good.
Nick, should we ask the question that Mike's probably been asked but isn't going to give us a straightforward answer to?
Yeah.
Authentic or Honor AP Kentucky Derby?
Well, we still have to see Honor AP run, but Honor AP is a special kind of horse. I really believe that mile and quarter is something he really should suit him very well. To be honest with you, most 3-year-olds at this point don't really want a mile and quarter. There's very few of them that do, and some of them that even win it didn't really want the mile and quarter, but they got to the right place at the right time and were able to go ahead and hold horses off. But But Honor AP, the farther we go, the better he seems to get. If all goes well this weekend, hopefully it does. He would be my horse.
And you know what? I had quite a long chat with Bob Baffert last week, and he wasn't exactly unequivocal that Authentic was the best Derby hope that he had. He was, he said he's achieved the most, but he wasn't all over saying he was his absolute tip top number one Derby colt.
He's got several, man. I mean, and several that have, of course, have gotten, slightly, they're off the Derby trail right now because of just minor injuries that are going to come back, like Charlington, of course, Nadal, extremely talented horses. But he's got one there that he's going to run in the Travers called Uncle Chuck. That he's another one that acts like he wants every bit of a mile and a quarter. He's made that way. He's got that big, powerful, long stride. Big stride reminds me a lot of Arrogate, to be honest with you. He just keeps coming at you as well. So he has no empty wagon, old Bob.
I love it. Well, I mean, plenty of exciting prospects. As much as this has been a strange top seed Turvy year, I think we still have a lot to look forward to. And, I can't believe this, but we're only a little bit over a month away from the first Saturday in May. I mean, Mike, how much are you looking forward to that, even it being in September?
Oh, so a lot. It feels the same heading in. I just hope that we'll get fans, because it just makes it that much more special whenever the fans are there. The other day when Authentic won the Haskell, they allowed, I think it was about 3,000 fans in there. And although that wasn't very many, it sure felt like it. It felt good just to have people back at the racetrack again cheering for you. And so that felt good. So hopefully that'll happen. And like I said, once we get through this Saturday, I'll know a whole lot more, and hopefully we're heading that way.
Mike, you've achieved a hell of a lot in your career, and you'll achieve plenty by the end of this year. But being the first main guest on the popular Cocktails and Conversations Internet Breeders' Cup strand, I'm sure is gonna top the lot. And you loved it so much you came back to chat with us again.
Always. Are you kidding me? Anything to do with you guys and Breeders' Cup, man. It's like I said, Breeders' Cup's a very special day for me, and this involves Breeders' Cup and all the horses that are heading that way. And I'm just hoping I can get as many more as I can and try and hold these young guys off who are going to catch my record at some point. I'm just hoping it's a year or two before they get to it.
They're not for the time being anyway. Listen, thanks for checking in with us again. Enjoy the weekend. Sorry you can't get on Bisou, but important stuff and important business, and you never know what it might yield.
Well, thanks for having me on. I can't wait to try that drink as well. I'm definitely going to do that. When Hannah Bloom gets back, we're gonna have her make it for us.
Good. Sounds good. Thank you, Mike. It's so good to see you again.
Oh, big weekend there for Mike Smith. And obviously, I can't even imagine what it's like a player sitting out of a game, a jockey obviously not being able to ride their superstar horse, but he seems to be taking it in stride.
Well, listen, you never know. He might be riding his superstar horse. Time might very well tell that, this weekend's a big weekend for him, come what may.
It seems like it. And like I said before, there are a lot of Honor AP fans. He is striking. I don't know if we can Google a photo and put him up for all of those that don't know who we're talking about, but he is a majestic sort, looks a lot like his sire, Honor Code, and has this side eye. Those in racing kind of know what the horse side eye is, but he's got that too. So Derby points on the line, a Breeders' Cup win and you're in race in the Bing Crosby, the Sprint, and of course the Whitney coming up at Saratoga is also a win and you're in. And that race, small field, Nick, but it's absolutely stacked. I think you have some of the top contenders that are in the rankings for the Breeders' Cup are all facing off against one another. So despite the fact that we can't see these jockeys travel, I mean, we have a lot of action to zero in on.
Just on that point, before we wrap, Brittany, obviously we're panelists for creating the top 10 rankings for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Who do you have in your top 4 or 5 at the moment?
I have Tom Stata as my number 1. He already is in the Breeders' Cup Classic with his win in the Stephen Foster. He leads the Whitney. Midnight Bisou is up in there. I don't know if she's going to go to the Classic. Cheers.
You have to just. That's the way I do it. Is I just put in who if I just assume I do it, so I'm assuming they all are going to run in the Classic and do it on the order of who I would think would have the best chance if they went there.
Right, in the Classic. So I still think she's have a chance in the Classic, but I don't know if she's going, but I'm taking it as if she would. So I put right in there. I put, who else did I put? I'll be honest, I dropped Maximum Security a little bit. I wasn't totally over the moon with his San Diego handicap performance, but I think he could build off of that. Who else did I throw in there? I think I put Honor on the list.
Tis the Law. Did you put him in?
Yes, I put Tis the Law, and I put Tacitus pretty high up there because I think that's the horse that wants every bit of the distance.
Yeah, he definitely does.
So it's kind of fun. Who's your number one?
Midnight Bisou's right up there for me. I dropped Maximum. Actually, I had Maximum Security. I didn't have him on the list the first week because I thought there was no point putting him on the list because I didn't know what to expect. So I thought I'll see how he runs. I think I stuck him in. I was probably a bit more generous. I think he's in like 3-4 with me. Bisou's around there as well. I had Tis the Law up there. Thomas D'Etat.
By my standards, mid-court I dropped Higher Power a little bit. I don't know. It's like
here's a question for you. If the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile didn't exist, would Vekoma have been a contender for the Breeders' Cup Classic? Or do you think they'd have just run him in the sprint?
I think they would run him in the sprint. He's not even on my list because I don't see him going in that race.
He's a very talented horse.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Monomoy Girl.
What's wrong, Nick?
No, I just said Monomoy Girl. I lost you for a second. Listen, it's been real.
Difficulties today. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
We will be back next week for episode. What were we today?
17.
It'll be 17 next week.
17.
I'll be back at home with the piano and all the rest of it. And
I think we could be on Netflix at this point.
What? We should be. And you know what? I'm going to have more giraffes and animals behind me next week. Why not? I'll bring in the full-size leopard I have somewhere down there.
There's way worse stuff on Netflix than this.
That's true. That's a fact. Absolutely.
Love you guys. See you next week.
Good night, everybody.